Uh-oh. Is this thing on? Oh, hey. You're listening to the Hold On With Me podcast, and I'm your host, Riley Joe. Thanks for being here. Hello, my friends. Welcome back for another episode. You guys, this is podcast episode number 10. Like, can you even believe it? We've come so far. And it's been such a ride and a fun journey of learning and growing together. And it's just blowing my mind that we are 10 episodes in. I hope this episode today is finding you happy and healthy and recovering from the holiday weekend. Happy late Labor Day. Today feels like a Monday for sure, getting back into the swing of things and routine. It's always nice to have a little bit of a break though. Like time to just get away from the norm and have some time to just recharge and reset. This past weekend, that did it for me. I was up at a cabin where I didn't have any service, and I almost didn't even go because I was pretty anxious about the situation. And then I just decided, you know what? What do I have to lose? I might as well go. I know I can just be up there to relax. There's no pressures, and I'm going to push myself to do it anyways. And let me tell you, having no service is like a breath of fresh air. And especially for me, where I do a lot of my work on my phone or on screens, it is so nice to have time to not even have to worry about checking my phone or who's calling me, who's texting, and getting distracted by so many different voices and the busyness of the world. Like, how did I not realize this before? But taking time away was so helpful for me to just get out of a rut that I was feeling. And I want you to picture something. Now I'm going to paint a picture in your mind. Just think of let's just picture being outside. You're just sitting on a chair. The sky is really blue. There's white puffy clouds, leaves on a tree, and you can hear this really calm, relaxing water sound as the river's flowing through. You hear like a little bit of the breeze in the trees. And that's it. There isn't anything else. Nothing to distract you or to pull you away from just being in that moment right there. Maybe the only thing distracting you is you're holding your favorite drink. Maybe it's a little Diet Coke and you hear the crack of it as the can as you open it up. And I mean, let's be honest, we all get distracted by food. If we're going out to a cabin or the lake or away from everywhere, of course there's going to be really good food and yummy snacks. That will be the biggest distraction. But how does this feeling or how does this image make you feel? When you're picturing this in your mind, do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? Maybe you're not feeling any pressure. You get to just be, to just feel alive and not have any agenda, no pressure to do anything, to be anywhere. So I'm curious, where or how do you reset? What's your place to get away from the noise and the busyness of the world? Do you take time away to just be? Now, the one I'm talking about today, mine is found in the car with God. And it's been this way for a long time. I find my peace and my serenity when I'm driving in my car, talking to God about what's going on in my life and how I need Him to show up for me. So I'm going to take you back. We're going to continue with this story that we've been building over these last couple of weeks. And last week I had shared I was in Arizona. I went through a breakup. And then I flew to Idaho to be with my family. And it was the best thing ever. I just needed to get away from what I had known for so long and taking time to just heal and be with people who loved me most. So I was in Idaho for a while, spent time with my family, and it was a great time. Now, here's the thing, is as my flight was getting ready to leave, I think it was maybe the night before, I had so many things tugging at my heartstrings. Family just saying, oh, Riley, just stay. Like, stay longer. We want you to stay here and be with us. Just hang out. I remember thinking like, man, I want to move back to Idaho and be with my family and the people that I love so much. And then I also had my roommates and great friends who were texting me in Arizona saying, we miss you. Come back. When are you coming home? And so I was being pulled in two different directions. And I just felt all of this noise and overwhelm, and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to cancel my flight. And here's what I did. I booked my rental car to drive home to Arizona. Yeah, that's right. I was going to be making a 3-day trip back to Arizona, and I was just going to have time away for myself, to be alone, to be with God, and to just sit with my thoughts. Call me crazy because I still don't know how I did this, but I had a drive. Someone took me to Utah. So I caught a ride. I got to Salt Lake. I picked up my rental car, and I had booked 2 different Airbnbs. One was in Hurricane, Utah, and the second one was in Sedona, Arizona. And I was just going to be staying in a random house, my own little place that seemed like it was a safe reservation, like it seemed okay. And away I went. And as I was driving away from my hometown in Idaho, I was so emotional. I was crying because I loved being around my family so much. I love where I'm from. I love everything about it, and it was really tough to leave again because I had been gone for at least a year and a half, and I'd only flown back a couple of times in between. So I'm driving, I'm just crying, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, do I move back home or do I stay in Arizona? God, I need you to show up for me. The first night, I make it to my Airbnb, and I walk in the door, and it is seriously just this little random room when you first walk in this house of this family with like little kids. And I'm thinking, what did I just do? This is crazy. Like, I would never do something like this, but I'm also really spontaneous, so it kind of just fit. And I'm just in my room, and it went okay. I was safe, locked my door, and I had made it the first night. So the second day, I woke up. I was feeling pretty adventurous. I wanted to go get breakfast at a little cafe, and this is really close to like Zion's and St. George. So I'm like, where's the wind going to take me? I decided to go stop at a bookstore. I had breakfast on this balcony where I could overlook into this canyon. It was so pretty. And I just had time to just write and to study and to write pros and cons and just be with myself and God. Nothing really came, but I'm just going through, enjoying this time, and really just taking time for myself to reconnect. And as I started to get on my drive again to head to Sedona, I think I had like a 4-hour drive, and I had called my brother. So we're talking for a while, and I was just kind of venting to him, telling him, hey, I'm not sure what I want to do. I don't know what decision to make. I'm thinking, do I move or do I stay in Arizona? There's so many opportunities because, let me explain, at this time, so I'm working online. I have an online job. I have online school. Now I wasn't in a relationship, and my lease was ending soon, and 2 of my roommates that I would have moved in with again, one was moving to Texas and the other was getting married. So I had really no ties to stay to Arizona I guess if that was the case. I just didn't really know because I'd be moving in with new roommates at this point, finding a whole new place. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So really, the world was my oyster. I had so many decisions to make, and the options were endless. And as I'm talking to my brother on the phone, we're just discussing different ideas. And my brother just randomly was like, Riley, what if you moved to Utah? There's so many opportunity there. You could go to school in person and just see what happens. And at first, I remember thinking, no way. There's no way I'm doing that. Not another move. That's so scary. If I'm going to move anywhere, I'm going to move back to Idaho. It was a part of me that was feeling pretty anxious, of course, just shutting down the idea of moving somewhere new again and having to start over. And then as we started to talk about it, my brother mentioned different jobs and things that I could get involved with because he had previously lived in Utah. So he was kind of like hyping me up, saying, yeah, like there would be a lot of opportunity for you if you went there. And I just sat with it. So we hang up, and I'm just processing it out loud. I think then I called my dad, and maybe we were talking about it a little bit. and even my grandpa. And I'm like, wait, do I move to Utah? I could be closer to my family, but it's still far enough away for me to be able to grow and do my thing. The school I was taking classes through online, now I could go finish my degree in person. It made so much sense. But it terrified me. I was so scared. God, is this really the answer you have for me? Is to move out of the state and move away from everything that I had grown to love living in Arizona. I had so many amazing friends, which I still do. I cherish all of my friendships there. But why would I leave that? It was everything I never prayed for. So now why am I going to move to a new state, new people? I don't know who I'm going to live with. I don't really have that much family that lives in Utah. Just pros and cons, of course. And I make it to Sedona that night. I'm feeling a little bit of anxiousness because now suddenly it was, well, what am I going to do? I have this idea in my brain. So fast forward to that night and I go outside. I'm on another little balcony and Sedona's gorgeous. It's out in the middle of nowhere and there's just wide open spaces. And it's dark and I just sit on the chair on the balcony and I look up. And all you can see is these beautiful stars just shining bright. And there's so many of them. And it was so calm and peaceful, like no noise at all. And I just started to talk to God out loud, telling him my thoughts, my fears, my worries. Like, is this where you want me to go? I'm thinking about this, but I don't know. And something that I said was, God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to move. I like where I'm at. I'm comfortable and it feels safe. But if that's where you need me to go, I'll do it. And I just had this huge amount of calm and peace come over me. And I was hopeful, thinking, this is exciting. Another adventure, kind of like do it for the plot, make these changes and choices while I still can, and see what comes. See what God has in store, because he had already showed me so many amazing things living in Arizona that I already knew he would take care of me if I moved to Utah. I just have to trust and put my foot forward. And I think sometimes we get stuck in these moments where we feel paralyzed to make a change or a decision to go forward in a different direction than what we had originally planned. And it stops us from actually making the choice because we're stuck in fear. What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if it's not the right choice? But with God, everything is possible. What if we looked on the other side of hope and happiness and light? And that's what it felt like for me, was moving to Utah felt so light and it was exciting and it was happy. And yes, I could focus on all the negative things that could happen. I didn't know who I'd be living with, where I would be living. I didn't know what I'd do for a job. There's just so many things I was figuring out. But I chose to focus on the good and the positive because the decision had felt way better. And I think the positive parts outweighed the negative. So I had to lean into that. And if we stay stuck with where we are, if we're unhappy, we got to make a choice and we got to make a change, and we can talk to God, and it enhances our lives because he knows the plan. He's going to help us. He's going to take care of us. He has our back and it's already prepared for us. But when we're moving and making changes and choices that are different than what we thought, that's when so many greater things can come for our lives. And so I'm on day 3 of this trip, just thinking, wow, okay, I'm going to roll with this. I'm going to look into it more when I get home, see what happens. I have to lean into these thoughts that I have. I make it to Arizona and I get picked up at the airport as I'm dropping off my rental car, and I'm telling everyone, I'm moving to Utah. Like, I think that's my idea, my plan. And of course, 2 of my best friends were like, no, we don't want you to move. Like, that's so sad. And it tugged at my heartstrings again because I loved them and cherished their friendship so much. But then they also respected me enough to say, we support you and we'll still be friends. We want you to be happy. And you guys, there's just something so great about having friends that support you with where you're at right now in your life. and helping you when you are making changes and pivoting, that they can respect you and that don't weigh you down or bring you into the negative. Find friends that build you up and help you feel happier and light. So I decided to apply to this school in person, and I got accepted, and all of a sudden I'm moving to Utah later that summer. My plan was to move home to Idaho for like a month, and then I would move into this new place in like July. But all I knew was, okay, this is my decision. I'm going to be moving out of this house, and another big, great adventure awaits. I had no idea what would happen. But deep down, I knew, okay, it's all going to work out and everything will fall into place like it already has because God has already shown up for me time and time again. And I've seen it, especially while I was living in Arizona. I had confidence, full confidence, knowing that He would do it again. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy because it's never going to be just smooth and perfect all the time. Life would be boring that way. But I knew that it would all turn out exactly how it needed to be, and I could have more experience and have greater opportunities with people that I hadn't even met yet and I didn't even know. Sometimes all it takes is just sitting back, reevaluating our lives. If we're feeling miserable or down on ourselves, we can look at our situation and our surroundings. Are there little tiny choices and changes that we can make to enhance our life, to get out of those ruts, to not feel so bored? And everyone's lives are going to look different, right? No one's going to have the exact same story. Mine was a 3-day drive with God. Maybe yours is something totally different and you're a mom and you've got to figure out, okay, how can I make life exciting with this time of my life right now? We got to be creative. And I think that's awesome that God trusts us enough to allow us to make these or to take action. And then He's going to slowly guide us. But we can make those changes. We don't need to wait for Him to tell us step by step. That would be super nice if He just gave us a blueprint on how to go about our lives. But He hasn't. He's given us the power to change. And I love that idea so much. So what is your place? Where is your place where you can find peace and serenity? Where is your calm? And how can you take time away to just be? Because I promise when you do, I know that God's nearby. Getting away from the noise and the busyness of the world to figure out what is it that I want to do? What do you want to do for your life? Where do you want to go? And what do you want to do? All it takes is a little time away. I mean, we're constantly filled with all these voices of we need to be doing more and we need to be doing it bigger and better. But sometimes less is more. Keeping it simple, but it's going to be a lot more significant. And hopefully you'll be able to find that life is so much more enjoyable when we can just be. We can relax and know that we're going to be okay. Even if we get a little distracted by some yummy treats, because truly there's nothing better. But we got to keep life exciting and find the joy in the journey and feeling hopeful about good things to come and that we are doing enough. You are right where you need to be. God is aware of you and He's got you. He's taking care of you and He's already taken care of everything, all the little tiny details that you're worried about right now. He's got it covered. And I promise He trusts you enough to make these decisions for your life, even when they feel scary. And maybe you're paralyzed and not making those choices out of fear. And that's okay. I've been there and I get it. And I still do it. I've been needing to make different changes for where I'm at in my life right now, but I am so scared to do them again because you don't know the outcome. It's almost the anticipation of, I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to go wrong? What will come? But we just have to have hope in knowing that we're capable. We are absolutely capable of making these decisions for ourselves. And how cool is that? Truly. I hope you know that. And honestly, I want to encourage you to just go for it. Do the thing that scares you. Take time away. And if you're feeling overwhelmed about maybe two different choices you need to make in your life, sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and just be. Sit with God, ask him what he needs, or ask him what you need to do, and if you're making the right choice, and go with what feels light. And I got your back along the way. I support you and I see you. So take it from a girl who gets it, who's been there, and is still going through it. That it's all going to work out. I believe in you. I hope you have the best week. And just remember, it's you, me, God. We got this. Keep holding on with me.